if you can't play footy, you can still get better. It's make or break now. I sort of knew I was done a little bit because I had times where like the coaches didn't really speak to me. And Prime.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Prime Poddy. I'm so excited for this poddy. I reckon you've got one of the greatest stories to share from footy, Tasmania, moving through the AFL and then becoming a little bit of a social media celebrity. Mitch Hibberd, my friend, how are you?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me. How are you going? All right?
Mate, I'm actually always well. Thank you for asking how I am. It's a rare occurrence people ask me. I'm very well, everyone. I'm very well. I'm feeling great today. Done a couple of workouts, had a whole heap of Prime pre-workouts, so I'm feeling absolutely elite.
He's on top of the world.
Absolutely elite. Mate, let's start off with a little bit of a hot topic of conversation. The Tasmanian AFL team has just come in. You're obviously a Tasmanian at heart.
Born and bred.
Born and bred. Clarence, I believe.
I was Clarence. Yep. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Clarence. Where is that?
Clarence is like just outside the city in Hobart, or kind of is the city. It's like it's a big footy club, big history. My dad played footy there, played a lot of games. I'm not actually sure, like 200 games or whatever. So
are they in the TSL?
Yeah, TSL.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. So we lived in Lindisfarne back in the day. Mum and Dad have moved house now, but they still live in Hobart, which is good. So I try and get down, but. Tassie in the AFL. So I wish it happened like 6 years ago. I might still be playing AFL footy here.
But then you never would have got to go on Love Island.
True, true.
Got this new life that you get to live. But you're pretty keen for a Tassie AFL team. Tassie Devils, I think's what they're going to be called.
Yeah, it'd be called the Devils, hopefully. Yeah,
there's a bit going on about that.
Yeah, I actually am excited. Like, I know what it's like down there. And like growing up, it was like I went for North Melbourne. So I was like lucky that North Melbourne were coming to Tassie. I could go watch them play, all that kind of thing. It only really happened when I was a bit older too. But people love it down there. Like footy's like, if you go into a cafe on the street, everyone's like, the TSL is like, and even the players are like big players. Like they'll walk in somewhere and everyone's like, oh, that's what's about. And he might just plays for, North Hobart or Clarence or whoever. So they love their footy, which is really good. It's like just a small, in a way, it's a small country town. So you could say I'm a little small country boy in Tasmania, living in the big smoke.
No, you absolutely are. You absolutely are. I was actually watching, like I said to you before off air, I think it was your draft year kind of highlights, and then you were kind of doing a voiceover to them, to the media, and you were so young.
Yeah,
so
I was,
little,
yeah.
And like, it's crazy to see as a human how far you've come in the last 6 or 7 years.
Mate, it's crazy. I know we were just talking about that before. You literally look back at yourself when you're like 18, 19 and you're like, what the hell, like how much I've grown, like how much I've, in every way I've like evolved, I guess, as a person. So it's pretty crazy to think that's the same person. But I mean,
you've just done so much, bro. It's literally a ridiculous story, but I'm going to get into, before you got drafted.
Yeah.
You were, I think it was 17 when you had your first major injury?
I was 15, I think.
15.
Yeah, 15.
Was that an ACL?
That was a shoulder reconstruction, yeah.
So talk me, I don't know why I'm trying to tell your story.
There's a few,
talk me through your injury history, especially growing up as a young kid.
Yeah, so like, obviously I had a lot of injuries growing up. My first one, I had a shoulder reco when I was, I think it was like 15, 16. No, I think it was about 15, like sort of 14, 15. I was just starting to come up. Just however shoulder was. I think I put my arm out and someone fell on it. I was young.
Were you going to the gym at that stage?
I wasn't at that point, okay. No. That was kind of probably when I started going to like gym and started like training and stuff like that. Probably more because it was rehab and that was how I got into it. I had my shoulder injury. I probably was only 14, 15. And then, I recovered from that, sort of just playing footy down there. I played senior footy pretty early. I was probably 15, 16 playing senior footy.
It's a really good thing to do.
It is good, but at the same time, I think like I was in a rush. When I was 16, I was like, I need to be doing this now. Like, I need to be doing this and that, where I think sometimes you just have to let your body develop. You like naturally fill out, where I was like sometimes like you get hit and whatever, and it does hurt a little bit harder when you 60 kilos and you get hit by a bloke who's 90. Yeah, they don't want to go straight through you.
Because when you're a 90 kilo big man, you're like, how do I look tough? How about I hit the 16-year-old?
Yeah, the 16-year-old flatten him, but which was good for my footy because you just learn to like crack in and be tough and all that. So I got back from my shoulder. I was fine playing footy. I was lucky enough to play in the under-18 carnival. It was a bit different back then to how it is now. Like Division 2, we
Division
played
2,
New South
it
Wales,
was like NT,
Queensland.
Yep.
So I was lucky enough to play in that. I played 16 champs as well, but then I played 18 champs as a 16-year-old. So we won the title that year. We had Nankervis, the college Jasneys. I think we had 7 or 8 draft. Like, we had a great team.
Wow.
Yeah. We had a real good team.
Yeah, wow.
I think that was like the best year they've had in a long time.
Far
I don't
out.
think they've repeated that, but we had a real good team. So yeah, I played through the carnival, which was like a great experience. And
Were you an overager that year?
I was 16 playing under 18, so I was playing year up.
Oh wow!
So I was like, that was kind of when footy sort of started, like
Wow.
taking. That was like where I was like, I could probably like do this for a job.
Yeah.
So got through that carnival, went back to senior footy for Tassie. I think there was probably 4 games left. Second game to go. So I'm going into my proper 18th year now.
Yep.
So everything, I'm like, next year I'm going to get drafted, like whatever. There's about 2 years to go. 2 games to go in the year. And then, did my ACL. 2 games to go. So, yeah, 6. I think I just turned 17.
Did you do it?
Yeah. I actually don't know to this day.
Really?
It was a night game. I remember it like it was like yesterday. It was like a night game. I don't know if Tassie fans, but it was a Glenorchy KGV Oval, I think it's called. And it was a night game, and I remember I copped a few big hits, like just like jumping and getting smacked and all that. But I played the full game, and then it was a night game, so I just went home, like went to bed. I was sweet. And I remember waking up the next morning, and my knee was so fat and like sore, and I could hardly walk. And I literally was just like, I didn't think it was anything. I was like, I just got a corky, like whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you how I did my knee.
That's a ridiculous story. So you played the whole game.
I played the whole game,
That's tough.
like whatever. Yeah, tough. That's tough. They breed them tough down in Tassie, mate.
Dude, I had Mitch Robertson on the potty a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just looking at Tassie people, like,
breed them different down there.
I want to go down there and play footy because they're tough.
Yeah, so
but that's one of the craziest.
I had no idea, and then woke up, fat knee. I honestly didn't think anything of it. I was like, it's probably just a corky, or I've copped a knock, whatever. So as you do, jump in the bin with ice full, all that kind of thing.
Love
all
it.
week. I think I missed that week in the game because I was also like, I knew I was coming into my 18th year and I wasn't going to really get anything out of footy. I was just playing for fun. And I was a bit like, I'll just like take it easy this week, like whatever. And the club were really good as well. They were like, well, it's all right. Like, you're young. Like, you've got a lot to look forward to next year and all that. Take the week off. So I did. And then I went back to training on the Tuesday. I think I tried to train. I remember I just sort of like was running backwards and then cut, and my like leg gave way. It didn't hurt or anything, but it just gave way. And I was like, fuck that. I don't know if I can swear on the pod. But
You can absolutely fucking swear, mate. Go crazy.
But it just gave way, my leg, and I was like, that's like not right. It didn't hurt or anything. And I was like, geez, that's a bit weird. And I went off. They did all the tests, and they were like, no, like I think you're all right or whatever.
Okay.
So I was kind of just like, this is a bit weird. I might just have some fluid in there or whatever.
It's always the country footy physios.
I know, right? Yeah. I actually booked. The thing was, I booked it with a physio. Like the next day, I went to see a physio, or a couple of days later, and they did the tests anyway. And to be honest, in my head, I was like, it doesn't really matter if I miss this game or whatever. There was only a game or two, and I was 17 at this point. I'm like, it's all about next year. I just got to play well next year. I'll get drafted. So I'm like, if my season finishes, it doesn't matter, sort of thing. That was my mindset.
That's your mindset.
So I go to the doctor. They were doing tests at a proper physio, like the best sports clinic in Tassie. They're doing tests, and like, no, like you're sweet. I'm like, it's giving way, like whatever.
You knew something was wrong.
Yeah, but they're like,
in your gut, you knew something was
I was
wrong.
like, this just cause something not right. And then I think they were like, we'll give you a scan anyway. And I'm like, all right, sweet, like whatever. And when did the MRI scan, and then a couple of days later, I remember, they rang my parents and were like, told them on the phone. But I remember we were sort of waiting for it. Like we were just like sitting around, and I guess we were just waiting for the call. And I just remember when like my dad took the phone call, and just like you could just see the like his expression change. It was real serious. And that was when I kind of was like,
I've done
this
something.
is serious now.
Far out.
And then my parents were like, like sort of broke the news to me.
How'd you feel in that moment?
The world was over. Honestly, the world was over. I even think about it now. I literally like will remember this for the rest of my life. I was in my living room at home, and I went straight to my bedroom, and I was just like crying, like I was shattered.
That makes me so. And I remember
I was
you
like,
as a little 19-year-old. You were very fragile. Like,
I was a little kid, but I was in tears, and I think I rang like our like development manager or the talent officer in Tassie, and they were like, oh, like, don't worry, mate. I know it's your 18th year. It might feel like it's the end of the world, but we'll have you as an overage. We'll bring you back.
Thank the Lord. Because
So
they just brought that in, that rule that you could be an overager. Yeah.
So I mean, that didn't really make it feel that much better at the time, but also I was like, you know, at least I'm going to get half a chance. But I honestly thought that was like probably the end of, I thought that was it. Like I was like, I'm probably not playing AFL. And I grew up, my whole life was dedicated to footy. Like I didn't give, everyone says I have a plan B, care about school. And I tell you what, I didn't give a shit about school.
I'll get to your school and like after AFL stuff. But firstly, like kudos to you, bro. Like to be able to come back from that, obviously you end up getting drafted to North Melbourne, pick number 33. And I think that for the people out there that might have an injury, it might not even be as bad as yours, you know, like, and I think the one thing that people do have to remember is like, if you're injured and, you know, you think the world's over, if it's like a 6 week half or something, like hammy, you think the world's over. Like you've done a 12-month injury. Like it's a shocker. You missed a whole year of football.
Well, honestly, it got worse. Yeah. I was going to lead on to that. I actually did my shoulder.
Shoulder it.
Yeah. So what happened was I got back. So I've got through the whole year. I came to Melbourne. I had a knee reco here, flown back to Tassie, done a full year of rehab. It was year 12 schooling, and like I was like so dedicated to my rehab. I was leaving school to like go to the gym and do my rehab, and I'll go back to school.
Wow.
Like to that point, like I was full on. I was like, in my head, I was just like, there's just no option. Like
you were locked in for footy, right?
I was locked in. I was like, this is everything. And like, I did all right at school, but I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't give a shit about this. I was like, if I got a minute, lunchtime, I'd leave. I'd go train. I'd come back to school. And Tassie's like that as well. If you're like at the top, like as a kid, they'll put a lot more time into you because there's probably less kids that are at the top.
Of course.
So you'll probably have access to more time with coaches and all that kind of thing. And my parents were great and supportive too. But yeah, I did that whole year and got back. I've come back, started the preseason, probably in the best nick I was. I'd started hitting the gym a bit too, so it got a bit bigger.
I remember you were quite a large, like when you were going through that 1980, like you were quite well built.
I had the year off and I was like...
Just hitting gym?
Yeah, I was hitting gym, I was bicep getting hard. Well, I had it in, honestly, like I'm so different now the way I train, but back then I was like, everything was footy and I was just thinking, well, I'm not going to get any better playing footy, but I can get better athletically, so... Everything I'm going to do is going to be to make sure I'm a better athlete when I come back, and then footy will just catch up. But that was my mindset. So I've come back, started pre-season at under 18s there with pre-season. I'm going all right, like feeling good, feeling fit. And then, I think it was second or third training session. I went to spoil the ball and my shoulder popped out. And then, like, I remember that, I thought my world was over when that happened.
Because that was like, before the championships.
That was before the championships, yeah. It was literally the start of pre-season. It was like second, third session back. And I remember like I honestly thought the world was over. Like,
so
I went and got a scan.
18 months.
I didn't play for 18 months, and I wasn't even like meant to play championships. But like I was like so what the surgery I had was a they might not know. It's called Latarjet surgery. It's like 99% chance, 98% chance it will never pop out again because they tighten it so much. And they literally just have to wait till like the bone heals, and you have scans to check along the way.
Yep.
So I've come back. I was waiting. I think it was like I missed like the first half of the year. It was like June, July. I could get back, play like 4 games in the champs, and go back to senior footy.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna play well and I'll get there. But every scan I got, the bone like wasn't healing, and it got to the point in June where I was like, I have to play.
You just have to do it.
And it had been like 6 weeks or 6 months or whatever now had gone. I hadn't played in 19 months, and the doctors are like, all right, like just tape it up and play.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I came
back. Because I remember you come. I'm pretty sure you were double.
going. The Chris Judd
and you didn't even strap your knees.
Which
was ACL.
Well, honestly, like in the way, because I was worried about my shoulder, I didn't even think twice about my knee, because I was like, oh, that's old news. Like, I don't care about my knee. Like, it's my shoulder. So it kind of helped me come back from my knee. I had the double. I'd had a few problems with the left foot now and again, but I was like, fuck, just get me through. And they put me on a wing. I was half back, and it was like
24.
Uncontested.
You averaged 24.
Everything was like, I was a good runner, and I would just find outside ball, and that was like. Luckily enough, I was able to show a bit and like get invited to draft camp and do all right there and that. And obviously all the clubs were like, the medicals were like very intense. They were very worried about my body and stuff like that. No. And I'm trying to reassure them that, I'm good now. I'm good. But I was lucky enough to show, I guess, enough in 3 or 4 months to get picked up by the Roos. And
what do you reckon was, if you give 3 tips out there to people that are trying to get back from a long-term injury or a short-term injury, what would be the 3 tips that you'd give those people?
I think it was what I said before, like, if you can't play footy, like, you can still get better, and you have to work out if that's like you don't understand the game and you're watching vision. I think that's really important for young players coming through. Absolutely. It could be, you might not be the best. You might do your shoulder and you might not have the best endurance, but that doesn't mean you still can't improve your fitness. So there's always ways around it. Just because you can't play footy doesn't mean you can't get better. So I think that's the biggest thing that I guess for me, I tried to do when I was injured long term was like, well, especially when I hurt my shoulder, I was like, well, I can run in 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm just going to take my running to another level now, and it will help me when I get back. So I think that's probably like the biggest thing that for people who are injured. But I think another thing that's most important is like just to enjoy like your footy growing up, because like when you get drafted and when you get there, all of a sudden it goes. I'm not saying it's not enjoyable, but it goes from having a kick on with your mates on the weekend and you're probably at the top, like taking the piss. You can try 50-60% and absolutely dominate a game, versus you're thrown into a pond, a small fish in a big pond, and you're a kid and like everyone's just gonna like push you around and all that at train. Like it gets serious. So it's probably just enjoy the ride too, I reckon. Yeah,
that's exactly right, because once you do get to that,
it changes
VFL,
quick.
or like whatever it might be, even if it's just senior footy, the enjoyment, it doesn't go out of it, but it just does become a lot more serious. It becomes a lot different, and it's like, and you're not dominating games anymore, because like you said, you're a small fish and you're in a big ocean of fish and sharks.
That's the thing too. It's like, well, you know what it's like when you're 16, 17, you'll go out in a game of footy and you'll just run wherever, get the ball here. Like structure's not a thing.
People are just going to
give you the ball. Footy, everyone's giving you the ball. It's fun.
You run around, you get 30 touches, and the boys are handball, and you're at the back, and then you go to senior footy, and you're not that person anymore.
You're not that person anymore. You're the bloke who's giving it.
You go, no.
But there's no structures, nothing like that. So you got to learn all that kind of thing. It gets a lot more serious. So it's just you got to enjoy it.
When you don't adhere to the structures,
it's
a
rocket
up.
No, the thirds.
You might be in the threes the next week. Well, like I said before, you got picked up, pick 33 in the 2015 draft. You made your debut 2 years later.
After my second year.
2017. Talk me through your debut.
Yeah, my debut was nuts. My first year was just a write-off. The same thing. I had my kneecap kept popping out, so I had surgery on that. So yeah, another injury. Was pretty dust. My first year was basically a write-off. I played a handful of games, and then I was lucky enough to get a debut round 1. I think we played West Coast. Special day, to be fair, like because I think it meant so much more to me than everyone else. We had a few people debut that game, but it meant a lot to me because of like what I'd gone through to get there. Yeah. And it wasn't just me. It was like for my family. Like I remember like my parents were in the rooms before the game and just like getting around them and stuff. I was like, fuck, like 4 years ago we were in a hospital bed and like doctors are like, just quit playing footy, and like they were there, and then now we're here. Like it was just such a special moment for my family, and that's what meant the most, like, to me. Let alone we got pumped by about 72 points or something in the end, and I got dropped the next week. But that moment was like so special, and it is something like you like. I mean, it was North Melbourne West Coast. It's not the biggest game. It's not the biggest crowd or anything. But like in my head, it was just such an amazing time for me and my family. My grandparents are there and all that. It is something you never forget. Like,
was it a relief?
Be fair, a little bit, yeah. It was kind of like you just wanted to get the monkey off the back. But I'd played that year. I played a JLT game my first year, and I played all the JLT games. I started to play pretty well in the back end of the JLT game. Yeah. We played a game against the Hawks and I played really well, and that was kind of the moment where I was like, I'm a chance to debut now. Like that was kind of like where I was like, all right, I'm going now.
I'm there.
But it couldn't have been further from it, sadly. But
I think you were thereabouts. It was like it's always a massive step up, and when you've missed so much footy. Like
it is tough.
50 games really altogether.
Well, I think that's kind of like. It's funny because like my story to even get drafted was like, I even think about it now, it just like hits the heartstring a bit. But like there was so much like to it. But then once I got drafted, even that second year, I came out of the team round 2 and I worked my way back into the team 6 or 7 weeks later, and I started to play a couple on the trot. I think 3 games in. I started to play some good footy. Had a couple games, 25 touches I had, and all that. And that's when I'm like starting to get confident. I'm like, now I'm going. Like, this is my career now. Like, I'm getting a game. I'm starting to get the ball. Yeah, that's like kind of what I was thinking. And then it did come back, and then I actually popped my shoulder out again. The one that
different one.
Nah, the same one. They were like. What was it? So they'd like 98% chance they tighten it up, and like it was just the worst. Like, I've gone up, punched the ball, and I remember I got caught, and Charlie Dixon had like come back, and like it was just the worst angle. So I popped that shoulder out again, and that was kind of just like, that was really the beginning of the end at North really for me. And I remember after that it was like I went to see the doctor, and they were like, oh, we've not actually like done this surgery before. We have to work out whatever. They'd done it 4 times in Australia to repair. Once a Lattiger had failed. So like that was an ordeal that went on for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then I had 2 surgeons in my operation. 2 of the big like shoulder surgeons in Melbourne came in, one to do it and one to watch and like learn, because it'd never been really done. It'd been done 4 times.
This is crazy.
That's why the scar's like so big.
You got a massive scar. Yeah. It's quite visible on your shoulder. So you've only done that shoulder. You've never done the other one? No,
I've not done that one. Yeah, just
so you've
this
done
one.
Shoulder,
I've done 3
knee?
of these. Knee Rico, knee cap. I did a medial at Essendon. Had medial surgery. We can get into that after. But I had medial at Essendon too. So, I had that surgery, and that was kind of it. Really, to be fair, like once I did that, it was like that whole year was wiped out. It was pretty like boys. I remember that off season. I was like, it's make or break now. I want to go away with the boys, enjoy all that kind of thing.
No.
But I said no. I was like,
so
I
you
had
would have
to
been
stay.
on a 2-year contract.
I signed an extra year my first year.
Okay.
So I had the 1 more year.
Okay,
so I was
like,
I was basically like, this is all or nothing for next year. But yeah, I came back. I didn't really. I played all right, like VFL and that, but I was just
2018?
I think it was 2018. It was my 3rd year at North, and I didn't play too bad, but I just didn't really like. There probably just wasn't really a spot for me. We had an older sort of team, and
no injuries in 2018.
I had a few little niggles, but nothing like major. But yeah, I just like I sort of knew I was done a little bit, because I had times where like the coaches didn't really speak to me and all that, which is like it is tough mentally. Like when you're 22 years old and you've worked, like the way I saw it was I put in so much to even get there, and I was just like, come on, like just give me a chance, like whatever. And I thought like I was playing decent VFL footy, but there was just times where like the coaches probably didn't really speak to me or anything like that, and that's kind of probably where I'm not. I might be in trouble here. And then, we got sort of halfway through the year, the manager's speaking to him. They're like, we're going to wait. And I wasn't sort of playing. I was still playing VFL. And that was kind of where I was like, I'm probably in a little bit of trouble here, I reckon.
Oh, no.
And then come to the end of that year. And then, they pretty much had a meeting. I sort of knew going into the meeting, but it doesn't really prepare you for what was about to happen.
What did it feel like when finally they said you're done here at North Melbourne?
It was pretty rough. Like I remember I went in there and it was the coach and the list manager, and I remember we sat down at a table not too similar to this.
Oh, no.
I sort of knew.
I was like, back memories.
Bring back in PTSD.
Hey, Mitch, you're actually
mate,
done.
It's happened twice, mate.
We're done with the potty. We're deleting it.
Well, so we're going there, and I think even at the start they were like just sort of asking me like how I think my year was, and I was sort of in my head like, let's just cut to it.
Just
like,
cut to it,
it doesn't matter, like whatever. And then they're like, oh, we don't really have a contract for you, and I took it pretty well, to be fair, because I think I was prepared. And I was just like, oh, like, sweet, like, whatever. I remember leaving the meeting, and I was like, in my head, like, I was disappointed, but in my head, I was just like, nah, I'll be back. Like, I don't know. I was just like, I think everything I'd went through to get there, I was like, if I just give up now, it's just like not worth it. Like, I was like, I've been through so much to like even get a chance. I was like, I'm going to get back. And like, I was like, I'm going to like prove you wrong. Like, all that kind of thing. That was like what it was.
What motivated you to continue playing footy? Because you could have easily just dropped your freaking bundle and say, I'm fucking done with footy. I've done enough. Because, continuing this story, you end up, coming back onto a list. But what motivated you at the end of 2018 to say, fuck you guys, I'm coming back?
Oh, I think that's just the way I am. Like, even growing up, like, there's so many setbacks along the way, so many injuries and that. And every time I was like, nah, I'm just going to come back. Like, I'm going to come back. And in my head, I know it's like, I'm a bit of a basketball fan too, but I always watch like Derrick Rose, like when he's coming back from there. And I was like, yeah, this is me. Like,
awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, I was just pumped. I was like, this will be me. Like, this is going to be like the best story ever. I'm going to inspire all these kids out here.
That's awesome.
And that was like what my mentality was. I was like, I'm going to end up playing, having the best career. And then when I got delisted, I just thought, it's just another, like, I'm going to come back and it's going to be the best story ever, like, in my head. And
it's the best fucking mindset I've ever heard. Like,
but it just came naturally to me. There wasn't anything where it was like, but I think the thing that helped me was I had played some AFL and I'd perform, like, there were games where I'd performed pretty well.
Gave you confidence.
In my head, I was like, I can actually play at this level. I just need someone to believe in me and someone to give me a go. And sadly, I guess that didn't work out. But I just had that mindset where I was like, I'm just going to come back. And that was when, like, straight away, as soon as I left, I was like, you know, see you and what's next kind of thing. And
this is the most unbelievable story. It's crazy.
I've never told it, like, to be fair. And like, everyone just wants to know, like, about Love Island TV and stuff. But like AFL, like, there's not probably a lot of people who've actually, heard this at all, really.
Mate, well, it's a really crazy story because so I was born in 99, so I'm a few years younger than you.
Yeah.
You're born in 96?
Yeah, 96,
So, and I remember, like I said to you off air, like, I was following the draft really closely, and especially that year, that 2015 year, I was following it so closely. I remember your story came up, and it's crazy looking back, doing a potty with you now, and like, you know, looking back on your story, and, you know, at the time I was like, this bloke's going to be a jet. He just needs to get his body right, and he'll be a superstar. And yeah, like,
I'm not sure about superstar.
Well, I honestly think that you would because I say that because you were this new age of midfielder coming through. You know, you're 191 centimeters. I think you were like 85, 88 kilos. You know, like a really good size for someone coming through the ranks. And I just remember thinking, like, if this guy gets a chance, I reckon he's going to be an absolute gun. But
I appreciate
going
that.
to it's cool sitting here doing a potty with you. Before we get into the Essendon chat, you know what time it is. The PrimeTrain supplements are the greatest supplements, Mitch, in the entire goddamn world. We have 100% grass-fed. He's been on, obviously, the protein, 112 kilos. That's why he's looking so big. He's on the protein. 100% grass-fed whey protein isolate, the most bioavailable protein for your muscles. We've got that in chocolate and vanilla flavors, which is magnificent. We've also got the unflavored prime creatine, which is fantastic. It's going to improve your energy, increase your lean muscle mass, and just increase your overall performance. We've obviously got the PrimeTrain pre-workout as well. That is our greatest selling. It sells out like, we sold 500 units in a month. It's just like ridiculous. It's we've only got orange flavored at the moment, which everyone does love. We're bringing in some new flavors. Any flavors you like of your pre-workout that you take?
I'm like watermelon.
Nice.
It's a bit different, but
that's what I'm working for. A little bit zesty.
Yeah, a little bit zesty.
We're going to be working on some new flavors. I think we've got some like blue raspberry. We've got some watermelon. We've got some like lemon lime stuff as well in the works. So just keep an eye out for that, guys, as well. Obviously, the Prime Unwind stuff's going to be coming out in a few weeks. We're just getting that finalised. I'll send you through one if you want. You like them?
I do like that. Yeah, I like the colour. Yeah.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I've been in the factory, mate, working really, really hard, getting everything perfect.
Love that. Yeah, very
getting everything perfect. So been working very hard on that. Obviously, we've got our programs and all that sort of stuff as well. More apparel and singlets and that sort of stuff coming out in like 3 to 4 weeks. So make sure you use the code podcast to get 20% off any of that, because it's pretty much, it's the greatest thing that you can ever get your hands on. Ain't that the truth?
That is the truth.
Going back to, I think, just like the way that you manage to handle setbacks in your life. You go to Williamstown, great VFL club. Shout out to them. Obviously, big fans of the potty.
Williamstown,
They always listen to each week.
I'm still a member, so
really,
yeah, I am a member.
Get down to Willie, I guess.
Yeah, I want to sponsor a player soon and get my name up there. So yeah, maybe next year I'll sponsor a player. Yeah, Seagulls. Yeah,
they play at one of the most interesting grounds.
Oh mate, we don't lose down there. That first year I went there, I think we won 15 straight or something down there. Yeah, we just do not lose.
It's the windiest ground.
Windy, wet. It's horrible.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not. Not enough uncontested pilfer again.
So it's like literally just in tight, get it forward was the game plan.
It's just surge.
It's surge footy. Yeah, surge footy.
Oh, God. Now, you had a fantastic year, Willie. Talk me through that year.
Mate, it was, I I chatted to a few VFL clubs. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I live just out the city, so it's like Port Melbourne, that's close or whatever. But
Borough.
yeah, the Borough, a rivalry between the Gulls and the Borough. But Andrew Collins, I don't know if you know Andy Collins, Hawthorn great as well. I think he's at the Hawks now. Actually, might be an assistant coach. But he reached out to me, and I don't know. I had a meeting with him, and he's like, there was something about him where we just really got on, and he'd been like, he was a tough player. Like, he was like, a lot of people had the knock probably on me at North. I reckon the coaches thought I was a bit soft.
Okay.
And they probably thought I was like uncontested and didn't want to like find the ball and all that. And it didn't help. I was probably playing like half back and like deep back and all that.
Like, I'm not going to lay a tackle. I'm not going to get a contested ball when I'm playing half back or half. Like,
I wanted to play midfield. And that was my thing going back to VFL, was like, I want to play midfield. Like, I don't want to play half back. I'm not half back. And my whole time North, I was playing half back, third tall. It's just that's when you're that sort of difficult height, it's like they kind of just get moved around.
You haven't grown up playing it as well. Like, everyone wants to play as a midfield their whole life.
Yeah, I sort of played like a little bit half back under 18s, but like I played there so I avoided contact because my shoulder was fucked. Like,
fair enough.
That was why I was there. So I was after my last year at North, I hadn't had any major surgery, so it was probably like the first time I got to have a good pre-season. And went down to Willie. VFL was a lot different to what it was back then. It was a lot like sort of older and whatnot. I was like probably the third youngest guy there.
Yeah, wow.
I was very young. In our sort of 22 that was playing every week. And I was going all right to start the year. Probably the first. The first like 6 or 7 games, I was going all right. I was playing on a wing. I was like a little bit young, and I was going all right. I was having some good games, and then I was a little bit inconsistent. But I was like enjoying it. Andy was good. I loved his like mentality. He really like toughened me up. Like, he was hard on me at training. Like, he was really hard on me. But I think it was because he saw something in me, and because we got on really well, and we could relate, because I've heard stories. I don't know if this is true, so I don't want to out Colo, but I'll send him this podcast. Like, if this is true or not, we still are.
Send him the timestamp.
I'm gonna have to send him the timestamp. But there was where he wasn't in the team at Hawthorn, and apparently he's at training ran through blokes that were in his spot to like get in the team.
Yeah, really.
So like
injured them.
Like gone through them at training and that to get into the team. So I've heard that story. I don't know if it's true or not.
I honestly think that's what AFL. Sammy Mars talks about it. How like the Sydney boys, when you start the 2K, they used to come and elbow you at the start and try, when they ran past you, elbow you and try and...
Dog AFL.
It's dog.
Now, if I got back there, I'd be like throwing elbow.
I think it's changed though now. I don't think it's much... well, look, I've got absolutely no fucking idea, but from what I hear, it's changed the kind of... Everyone's a bit more inclusive, but before it was a bit more of a hierarchy setup.
Yeah, it was very much like a hierarchy setup when I was there. But so I was going all right. And then I remember it was quite funny. We were playing, I think it was about around sort of 7 or 8. It was about that. And I remember we were playing North Melbourne that weekend. I remember it was Tuesday night. And after training, Colo's like, he always used to call me Kid. He'd be like, Kid, come to the office. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what have I done?
Oh, no.
So he sat me down and he goes, playing North this week, like, how you feeling? And I was like, oh, good, like, we better beat him, like, sort of thing, and all that. And he goes, Matt, I think I'm going to play inside mid this week. Ooh. And I was like, oh, I like that. He goes, yeah, just cut loose and, like, give it to him, sort of thing, like, pumping me up a bit. He's like, I know you, like, want to, like, crack him, because he knew I wanted to play inside mid. And I was a big boy, too. I wanted to, like, throw it around at this point, because I trained really hard, put on a lot of weight and all that, so I was ready to go. So anyway, I was like, sweet. So I've come out, played inside mid, and a lot of the guys obviously I played the year before, and I had a pretty good game that game.
Was a bit of chat back and forth?
To be fair, I got along with a lot of the boys, so there wasn't.
Okay.
There wasn't a little bit, and I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm going to smash these boys. Like, that was in my head. I was like, we have to win, and we won.
Do you almost hate them, even though... You don't hate the bloke.
You don't hate them, but there's something where you're like, I know what I know what this like. I don't have any hard feelings, because like it is what it is, and like timing and all that. Like, there's so much that goes into it. There's so much luck that's involved with AFL. But in that specific situation, I was like, for that week, I was like, I'm just gonna like chop these guys up. And to be fair, like, we had a good team, and we ended up winning by 15 goals probably, and I had mid-30s, a couple of goals, like 10 tackles, So I think that was
fantasy.
Get me on had me as captain for that one, but that was probably that was the turning point in VFL for me, because like after that, it was like, I just played inside mid from now on. Collie was like, well, I'm not going to put you back on a wing now, am I? Like, and from there, I just like gained so much confidence, and that was kind of where it took off for me. And then that was mid-season draft that year. That was the first year they'd done it. So I remember I started to get like a few phone calls about mid-season draft. There was like a bit of media being like, oh, he could go in the mid-season draft now and whatnot, because I think I'd started to play inside mid a few games after that. I was starting to play really well. So then, the mid-season draft was sort of on the cards for me all of a sudden, which I didn't even think about. And I guess in my head, I was like, it wasn't really a thing. It just happened. And I was thinking like, oh, well, this is going to be, I don't know. I just always just thought I'll be back. But like part of me was like, fuck, I want to finish the year with the boys at Willie, because I loved it. That was my favourite year of footy.
It's your best year of footy because you don't care.
It's the best foot of footy, yeah.
Like,
it's serious, but
it's
like it's different.
Less, you know what I mean?
You just don't have that pressure on you and all that. And I thrived like that. And like Collier's probably the best coach I've had to this day.
Wow, that's incredible.
And
big rap.
Yeah, huge rap for him. He really did turn my probably footy around a lot. But so mid-season draft was on the cards. I remember I was working at a custom sportswear company and playing footy as well, so that's a bit different. But so I was at work, and I got the call from Essendon actually for the mid-season draft that afternoon. It was on that night.
Wow. And
they were like, oh, we're thinking we might take you tonight. I was like, oh shit, how good, like this is like how good's this? Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, like whatever. And then we just chatted to him on the phone back for, I don't know, 15 minutes, and like, oh, no guarantees, but we'll see. So I hung up that phone. And like, oh, how good's this? Like, I mean, I probably like, I kind of thought I was on. I'd bring my parents straight away, and like, I was like, I think I'm gonna go tonight. Yeah, like, how good's this? Like, whatever. So anyway, like, I go home, mid-season draft. I'm by myself. My parents were back home, and they didn't pick me. They picked another bloke. So they picked Will Snelling instead.
Oh yeah.
He's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing all right. So it didn't pick me. So that was like a little bit of a kick in the guts, but to be fair, like, I'd been through so much worse. I was a bit down for like a day or two, and I was like, oh, well. It was the same thing. I was just like, I'm just going to prove them wrong again.
Setback, dude. Like,
it was like,
it's crazy how many.
It's like, it's just like, I was like, oh, I'll just prove them wrong again. Like, it wasn't like a big deal to me. Like, for a few days, I'm the type of person who's down for a day or two if something bad happens, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, all that is worse. I just get over it and let's move forward and like get on with it.
Did they do any follow-up calls to say like, we might pick you up at the end of the year?
Mate, there was no follow-up.
I didn't speak. I didn't speak to him.
Yeah. I didn't speak to him the whole year. Yeah. So like, we finished off with the year. We had a really good year. We made the granny, lost by a couple of points, but we had a really good year. I had a pretty good. I was playing inside mid whole second half of the year. I had a good season. I was VFL team of the year, all that kind of thing. But yeah, it was kind of good because we were a good team. So it was a lot. Like, wasn't really thinking about the draft because I want to win a premiership now. And like, I really loved the club. I loved the boys, like all that kind of thing. So I was like, how good would this be? Because I'll be a life member of this footy club now. And yeah, we made the granny, or we played Essendon in the prelim, knocked them out. That was also a good feeling. But that was a good feeling too. In the hat. And then we lost the granny by a couple of points, which is obviously shattering. But it is what it is. And then I kind of just like went away on holiday for a bit, and had a few calls, came back, had a few interviews with clubs and all that kind of thing. And obviously just like the normal sort of interviews you have. And I'd not spoken to Essendon. I'd spoke to a few other teams, so I thought maybe I might go there. My manager had no idea either. And then it was like, I think I didn't get drafted, but then it was rookie draft, and then randomly picked 7 or 8. Essendon picked me, and I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I've not spoken to these guys since that one 15-minute phone call.
So they didn't even call you?
Nothing. There was no follow-up from that, and they didn't even call me before the draft.
Far out.
Unbelievable.
Like,
I couldn't believe it. Because going into the rookie draft, I was like, I'd spoken to a few clubs that had picks and that, and I was like, those were the picks I was waiting for. I was like, that's where I could go. And then randomly it was like picks, I think it was 8 or 9 or 7, whatever it was. Got drafted to Essendon. I couldn't believe it.
How did you feel after that? Were you like, this is unbelievable?
Yeah. I was like,
relief?
Yeah, I was like, this is unbelievable. I think to be honest, it was just tears. I was like crying. I ran my parents. And like Dodoro's trying to ring me, and I'm on the phone to my dad. And I was just over the moon.
Who's off Dodoro? I'm on the phone to mum and dad. You haven't called me for bloody weeks. You haven't called me 6 months, Dodoro.
But no, it was like... It was just a good moment. I think even my parents were probably like emotional as well, because it was like I'd done it. Like, I'd done what I'd set out to do. It was such a fulfilling feeling. And then got on the phone to him and he was like, "Oh, come down to the club now, or are you at work or whatever?" And I hadn't taken the day off, so he's like, "Come down to the footy club right now." So basically, with him being drafted, within half hour, 45 minutes, I was at the footy club.
Straight to the hangar.
Yeah, straight to the hangar, meet all the boys and all that, which was good. And I didn't start till the Monday, but sort of met everyone and saw the club and all that, and then I was back on a list. So
all right, the rest is history, pretty much.
Well, I think it's a weird one because there was COVID my year at Essendon, and then once again it was like I had a few weeks pre-season, did my medial in my left knee, had surgery, missed a lot, COVID hit, missed a lot. Like
couldn't even
you couldn't
even play VFL.
There was no VFL. We got moved. I came back.
You still played 4 games for the Dons though?
4 or 5 that year.
Yeah.
Maybe 5. Yeah, 4 or 5. But I played alright.
You got delisted after playing.
I actually genuinely thought I wasn't. I thought I was going to get another year. I was like, I played the second last game of the year, and I played alright. Like I didn't play too bad. We got pumped. I didn't play too bad.
I remember this game. I do. I remember it.
Like Port Adelaide up in Adelaide, and we got smoked. Whatever, but. I played alright, and then I came out the team the next week, and I was a bit surprised. I was like, "Fuck!" I was a bit surprised to come out of the team, but anyway, I just sort of copped on the chin and thought, "Oh well, like I've played a few games now. I've played a little bit of footy."
Sure, you done enough as a rookie.
I was like, as a rookie, maybe
you could have got rookied again.
I could have.
You could have been delisted and rookied again.
I was like, "Oh, hopefully I'll just get another year, and like hopefully this year will be uninterrupted pre-season
and
all that and that kind of thing." But they were like, got the call again. It was pretty it was different though because we were in a hub. I actually got they were grabbed me and another bloke and we got delisted together. Me and another bloke. I swear, crazy, eh?
Far out.
It was like
they brought you in together.
I swear, they didn't even bring us. There was we were about to leave the hub, the last game had been done. I literally remember it, and I'd spoke to them on the Wednesday, had a meeting, they were doing exit interviews, and they're like, "Oh, we're not sure yet, whatever." So I was like, all right, I'm probably just going to have to wait and see, because I'll see what happens in the trade period and all that. I'd called my manager, and he was the same. He's like, "Oh, they have given us nothing, we're not sure, it'll probably just be wait and see, you have to wait a few months." And I was like, all right, I'll just train and hope for the best and get as fit as I can, all that kind of thing. We were literally about to leave the hub, and we've gone up to to eat breakfast or whatever. Oh, no. So I've gone there, and they've picked me and another bloke out together.
Who else did they pick? You're allowed to say his name?
I probably won't say.
Okay.
I'll just keep him out of it. Just to be safe.
Okay, fair enough.
He knows who he is.
Whoever he is, I'm sure he
you would probably know him. I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
You'll probably know him. And then and I remember that he was like, "Oh, could we just chat to you quickly?" And I remember turning to him and going "Oh, we're all right," sort of thing. We'll be all right. They're not going to we're together. I was like, "We're all right." They're just going to be like, "Oh, we're going to have to wait and see." So we got pulled aside, and then literally just got pulled aside into a couch somewhere, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, look, boys, we haven't got contracts for both you next year." And I was just like, jeez. You could literally just hear the pin drop. I was like, oh jeez. So that was a bit rough too, but anyway, it's all part of it, isn't it? It's all part of footy. It's a brutal industry.
Do you reckon that the delisting and kind of the way that it all works is fair?
It's at the end of the day, the way I look at it is it's no different to a business. If the employees are not performing or whatever, people lose their job.
It's more cutthroat than a real business.
Oh, absolutely. And there's always more to it as well. It's never there's always a lot to it. But as I say, I'm not I don't sit here and because things luckily for me, I have landed on my feet, but it could have gone the other way, and whatever else.
I want to get into that because you've probably been 3 years, spent 3 years or 4 years now at different AFL clubs altogether.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
By the end of 2020, you've got kind of nowhere really to go, or the end of 2019, I think. No, 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, you got nowhere to go, and you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Let's forget
I don't
about
even
Love Island.
know.
Let's think that Love Island never happened.
Yeah, it wasn't on my radar at that
what
point.
What would you be? What would you be doing right now if Love Island never happened?
Oh, mate, I would hate to think, to be fair. Probably right now, I'd still be playing VFL, Willie, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably still be playing VFL, and I'd probably be, I don't know, I'd started to sort of work on a few business things at Essendon, midway through the year.
Yep.
Just because, not that I was planning for post-footy, just because it was I would want to kind of set myself up. I had that mindset, and I sort of knew how, harsh footy can be and that it can end at any moment. So I was like, I kind of want to try and set myself up here, but mate, I would be like, I'd be playing footy at Willie, I reckon.
You might be at the Rovers with me.
Maybe I could be at the Rovers, yeah.
I would have got you down.
We could be just chopping up each half forward flank,
yeah,
mate. I'll be full forward. I don't think I'll be leaving the square. You can run up and I'll stay in the square.
I'll start in the square and then I'll run up and then I'll somehow get back. I don't know how. Do you reckon that the AFL set you up with enough resources for post-footy? I sound like the media now. I sound like Robbo on AFL 360.
Yeah. Give the footy answers. Give heaps without giving anything. Yeah.
I'm not like that. Please don't think that. I really don't care.
I think like even when I left North, it was really like you just get one follow-up call from the welfare guy, and that's kind of it. And it was pretty similar to this. And they rang me once, maybe like, "How you going?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sweet." And that was kind of it, really. Like,
did you expect more?
Oh, not really, like, to be fair. After the first time, I was just like, I kind of knew what to expect. Even like getting delisted the second time, it wasn't like, I didn't sit there, like, it was still hard, but I was like, I knew what was happening, and like, I was like, I kind of just knew like, you'll be all right. And even after Essendon, I went back and played VFL again because I did still think I could play AFL. So I was like, well,
you're going to go
try and do
time.
it. Yeah, I was like, I'll come a third time, but
wow.
I don't know. It's hard because, like, I'm sure if I reached out and was like, "Oh, can you get me in contact with these people?" and that they would have done that. But yeah, I probably just wasn't really sure what I was going to do, so I didn't really. Yeah. I was probably like, I was just like, I didn't really have any plans. So it is scary to think like what could have happened, really, because like it is some people when they have too much time on their hands, it's not a good thing. So,
yeah, well, exactly right, and I think that a lot of people struggle that become an athlete and then struggle because they probably don't have
the resources all the time.
You see it all the time to do what they want to do.
And they had that structure of like training, be here at this time, you got to be here at this time, meeting at this time, and then they lose that, and then their life just goes downhill. So it is scary to think what like could have happened, but I think after Essendon I did take a little bit of a break and I went back to Willie. Played the year at Willie, and I was playing pretty well. I actually thought I could get drafted again in the mid-season. There was a mid-season draft, and the coach, there was a different coach back then, but we were really getting on, and he was sort of like real like confident in me. And he was like, I've had like some calls and things are going well, and I'd just gone back at that point I'd gone back with the mindset like, fuck it, like I have nothing to lose here, just go. Like, and no, you know in a game of footy, sorry,
no injuries that year.
No, I think it was COVID year, but I just went back and I've got nothing to lose here.
That was 2021, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, I played VFL that year as well.
We could come up against each other. It would have been a bit of fun.
Yeah, let's get into a bit of Love Island chat.
Fun stuff.
The
not so grim and gloomy stuff.
You've come out of like a 4 or 5 year footy career.
Yeah.
And I remember turning on Love Island. I actually watched the first episode, and I don't watch much reality TV. I'm not a big fan of it. And I remember turning it on, and Ryan came out. I think he was one.
Yeah.
Ryan Reid.
Yeah, Ryan, yeah.
I remember Aaron coming out. And I remember you coming out. I think you guys were the
I came in day 2 or 3. I was like straight, like they had a day and then I came in.
You were
it
like
was
an
great.
intruder.
I had the perfect time. Yeah.
What? Talk me through kind of the process of how Love Island come about. Did they contact you?
Mate, it was weird. Like, to be fair, like what had happened. It had like we'd sort of. So footy was going, it was COVID year and all that. And I remember they'd started advertising Love Island. And I was just like, not really, like I'd played footy, I was playing alright. I still kind of wanted to get drafted and I was having a good year too. So I didn't really think anything of it. And I remember one of my mates actually, Big Garns.
Yeah.
Big Garns, shout out to Big Tay. But yeah, he like saw it and he sort of like sent it to me being like, I should do this, it'll be funny as. Like kind of like cheering me up a bit. And I was like, nah, I can't do this, like footy, I'm gonna come back, like whatever. And then he was like, I'll do there was I think I clicked on it and there was just heaps to fill in.
There's so
and I was
much
like, mate, I'm not filling this in. No. Like I haven't got time for this. And he's like, I'll do it for you. And I was like, oh fuck, all right. Well, if you're gonna do it, just do it. But like, I don't want to know, but like whatever.
No way.
So he did it. I remember I was at Port Melbourne Beach, about to get in the water, like recovery, and he was like, like ringing me about it. And I'm like, you just answer whatever you think. Like, if whatever happens, happens.
Like what? Like, who are you interested in?
Yeah,
like, what?
Mate, I have no idea what he put down to this day. He could have stitched me up. Yeah, he's obviously like done the right thing. So anyways, I filled it in, whatever. Didn't hear back like for a little while. It's like the VFL that's been called off, or it hadn't been called off at that point. Was sort of still playing.
Yeah, it was like
now
a
and
weird
again.
time. We kind of knew it was going to get
We just
called
sort of
off.
like going through footy, didn't really go through it, and then I think I got like an email back, and it was like, "Oh, can you fill in these questions?" Forward it to Garns. Garns, can you fill these in for me? He's done the same thing.
You micromanaged your whole
yeah,
life.
Yeah.
You'd be a great
Literally,
manager.
yeah. And then yeah, I think I got a email again being like, oh, we want to do a Zoom call.
No way.
And I've gone, you're kidding, like, fuck.
Surely you're taking a piss out of me.
Yeah. So I rang guys and been like, mate, what have you been saying? You must be stitching me up here. They want to have a Zoom call with me.
And did a Zoom call, and you're like, yeah, this is, that's not what you
so
put
your
on your
type's blondes, but you said brunettes. Like, he sent me the things, and I like read through them quickly, and he's just like, all basic stuff anyway.
Yeah.
And then, did a Zoom call, and then I chatted to him for literally 5 minutes, and the girl's like, oh, yeah, we want to meet you in person after a couple of minutes, which I don't know if that's a compliment or they go, this guy's just,
weird.
He's an idiot, like, he's perfect for this. Yeah.
Camera's not working.
Yeah. But had a quick Zoom call, and they're like, oh, we're going to be in touch soon with COVID and all that. I'm like, sweet. So I'm still playing footy at this point, and just like, it's in the background. I'm not really thinking anything. I didn't take it serious. I was like,
Did you get any type of like, did you ever stop for a second and just think, I could be like,
I honestly didn't. I honestly just never thought of it. I just like, this will never happen. Like, I was like, and I was just playing footy, like not caring, like just living my life. And then they were like, it came to the day, they're like, oh, what time can we meet you? Whatever. I had to go to some hotel in the city or whatever it was. So, even then I wasn't like that keen, and he's like, oh, go, just do it. And I'm like, oh, what have I got to lose? I'm not doing anything, whatever, I'll go. So I went to the interview, and like I went in completely, like you walk into a room, people were sitting there, and like every guy's just sitting there like nervous, sad, like really, and I've like walked in there like slapping up everyone, like just being me, like whatever,
Conor McGregor walking.
And then like just talking to everyone in the waiting room, like everyone's like nervous, doesn't want to speak. And I'm like, oh, so what do you do, mate? Like just being me,
just
like,
being normal.
Yeah. And then I reckon like someone was watching like everyone interact too. I feel like from their point of view, like they'll be silly if they didn't.
Need to see that.
But I didn't really cross with me. But anyway, I've walked in there, like into the interview, and it was COVID, so not everyone could be there. So it was like this, like they were just interviewing you, and there was a big TV in the back with heaps of cameras, and then it was on Zoom, and there would have been like 200 people on Zoom.
What?
But they were all blacked out cameras, so all you could see was like black squares.
Oh, no
Yeah,
way.
so obviously it's all like execs, Channel 9, like everyone.
Crazy.
Yeah, so, and I was like, oh shit, like this is serious, like it's proper lighting, like everything. And I'm like, shit, this is serious.
Oh,
like,
no.
This is wild. And then had the interview, and like, to be honest, I was just being funny. Like, I didn't take any of it serious. I was just like having a joke.
I wonder if they thought that you were taking the piss, or if they were like, he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was just, I don't even know. I was like, I remember like one of the girls, there was like a girl asking me questions. She was asking me about footy and that. And like, honestly, I was just flirting with her. Like, I genuinely was, I swear. I was like, just like having a laugh, like just really flirting, and they just seemed to really like me, like whatever. And obviously I think they like the whole like AFL background and all that. I think it's obviously
AFL star that they'll put up on
the star of 9 games.
They always love throwing in like AFL player comes into
I think star gets thrown around very loosely. Like Daily Mail, you get called a star. I'll take it.
All your mates send it to you.
Yeah, star. I don't know. I take it, but yeah.
Oh god.
And then as I was leaving, they were, like whatever it was, they're like, oh, can you get some photos? So I did some photos, whatever. And then didn't really like hear from it for ages. Like, to be fair, and I kind of thought it was like, oh, it's like nothing's really happened. I didn't know if it like went well or not. When I was leaving, I was like, oh, whatever. It was just a conversation. Like, who knows if it was good or not.
Jeez.
And then I got like an email, and it was probably like a month, 6 weeks later, and it was like, oh, can you do a heap of blood tests, go to the doctor and all that. Yeah. And that's when I was like, oh, like this is kind of getting serious now. Like, I could be a chance here. And I'm still playing footy at this point.
You start sending it to your mates and stuff and saying, boys, I'm a chance.
I didn't, because they were like, you can't tell anyone. And I was like, a lot of my mates as well at footy clubs, like they would just tell everyone at footy clubs. They'd be like, oh, he's doing this, and it would just get around like crazy. So I only really told Tay. I honestly didn't really say anything to my parents. My brother knew, but I didn't really say anything to my parents because I didn't know if I was going to do it as well if I got it, because I never really took it serious.
Yeah, wow.
It was just like in the background, and then I did the medical, and we were sort of playing footy, and I was like, fuck, I might have to make a decision here of like if I'm going to finish the season, or I'm going to go on TV, like what I'm going to do here. But then I guess I think I didn't reply to heaps of emails. And then one morning, I literally got woken up by a call at like 7 a.m. from a producer, a random phone number, and I answered, and like I was waking up, and they're like, "Oh, why have you not been responding to our emails?" I was like, "I haven't got any. I haven't got any." And yeah, I don't even look at them too half the time. And they're like, "Oh, like we want you on the show," and I was like, and I'm like waking up, I'm like, "Sorry, what?" Like, and they're like, "We want you on the show," and I'm like, fuck. And I'm sitting there like, shit. Like, what am I going to do? Yeah. I'm like genuinely sitting there and I'm like, oh, and she's like, he's still single? Like, he's still keen? And I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I think so, yeah. And then like they're like, oh, they'll be in touch later today. We're gonna send through all this stuff. We're gonna book your flights, like, all that. And it was still like 6 or 7 weeks away. Like, jeez. I knew in advance. They had to get organised with COVID. There was a heap of like hurdles to go through and stuff.
Did you go to Spain or did you do it?
It was first one was in Byron, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it was like, but like even to fly from Melbourne to Sydney, there was so much stuff you had to go through, yeah. So I called my parents and sort of said, and I think they were a bit like, oh.
What did they say?
They were a bit like, oh, like, do you really want to do this kind of thing? Yeah. And then I sort of like spoke to my brother. I spoke to Garns and was like, he couldn't believe it. He was like, what the hell? Like, what the? He was like, yeah, do it. Like, it'll be so funny.
Bro,
like, do it. Whatever.
Bro.
And I'm like, shit. Like, I don't know, like, if I should do this.
Did you ever get nervous at any stage? You're like, oh.
I did at that point when I knew like I was going on. I was like, shit. But I hadn't told anyone. Then I was like, I think we're playing footy still. The season was sort of, it was like you play a game, 2 weeks off, a game on. I was like, stuff the season anyway. Yeah. Like, whatever. And then I think I just made the call where I was like, oh, like, I'm not going to get this chance again. Like, footy's sort of like, yeah, I'm enjoying footy, but like, you know, am I going to get drafted again? I don't know. I thought I was playing well, all that kind of thing. But I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do it. Like,
what have you got to lose?
I was like, what do I got to lose? And also I was like, my life's just the same. Like, I'm playing footy. I'm still playing footy. I'm doing like the same thing. You're relying on your footy club to get your job. Like, I was that guy. Like, I wasn't like, didn't really have like, I didn't have heaps going on. I wasn't going to go to uni or anything like that. Yeah. So I was like, look, why not? Like, what have I got to lose?
You get a great career. You know, like, social media could be a very comfortable career if you do it right.
I didn't realise it was such a big thing. Yeah, I really did not.
Yeah, probably. I don't think a lot of people have any idea. Like,
no, I don't think anyone does. The power and what you can do, and all that kind of thing.
It's technically advertising, right? Like, it's technically running
marketing, ads. Really, isn't
exactly
it? Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Did you ever think with your footy background that going onto Love Island, you get taken the piss out of a lot? And you were like,
mate, I have no doubt to this day I'm the joke of many football clubs. I have no doubt.
Really?
I reckon for sure.
Do you reckon you could ever return to play football after doing Love Island?
I could now because I don't really give a shit. And
really?
Fuck, what's anyone going to say that no one said before? You know what I mean? But I think when I first came off, I was like, but then I'm like, if I want to, like, why does it matter? What's anyone going to say? You went on like, so what, mate? Like,
Love Island.
If you
I can imagine what people would say.
If someone said to you, like, come on here for a free holiday, like, you would probably do it too.
Like, bro, like, it's just like, go to Spain, hook up with some.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, but yeah. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I wouldn't mind. Like, we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah. It's crazy. Like, I reckon no doubt there would be football clubs. I've heard people telling me like this guy's like said this, and I'm like,
who cares, dude?
Like, who cares?
Bro, like, you never.
It's so fun. Like, mate, I see TikToks people ragging you over the fence, and mate, you're like turning around like, give it a time. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Even yesterday, I posted a story about the Tassie team and like how good like born and bred. And I jokingly, I was like, oh, I might dust off the boots and come back and play. Mate, the amount of DMs I got from blokes being like, nah, we don't want to see you play again. Like, you couldn't get a kick, all this. I'm like, fucking hell, mate. Like,
some people must have the most boring lives.
Mate, it's genuinely crazy. Like, go and worry about your like, it's crazy.
Go. I just get messages all the time, just like from a random person. I just had a message request today, like, you're a flog.
Go and like fucking make some money, or like do something that's productive.
Come on, bro.
Like, go to the gym and train. Like, do something.
You obviously won Love Island, which is a massive congratulations to you with the lovely Tina.
Yeah.
You obviously went on it again in 2022, which was a funny experience. Would you ever go on it a third time?
A third time? I mean, the Australian season's coming up, so you can never say never, can you? But no, I think, who knows? I'd love to do some form of TV again. I really enjoy being in those unscripted environments where like anything can happen. Like, I enjoy that. It's fun. I don't take myself serious at all.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I think Love Island Australia I might have probably done all I could probably do on that now. I think people be like, not this bloke again.
3 years in a row.
3 years is a lot,
Get the call back. What's next? What's next for Mitch Hibberd? Where are you going to be in a couple of years? Apart from Ibiza.
A few months, 2 months. What's next? I honestly don't really know. I'm like just sort of taking it as it comes at the moment. Any opportunity. I'm a bit of a yes man, so I kind of just say yes to everything at the moment. But yeah, I'm really enjoying everything at the moment. I want to, hopefully I will be like maybe like presenting or something like that.
Awesome.
I wouldn't mind doing something like that. So we're sort of working on maybe like a gig like that. But I got my own business launching hopefully in the next 6 to 7 weeks.
Can you give us a little insight
I can,
into what it is?
Rainbow Skincare.
Very nice.
Plug, Rainbow Skincare.
No way. Okay.
Yeah. So I started working on it when I was at Essendon. So 4 years.
Unbelievable.
4 years. Yeah. With
what kind of skincare are we talking? A bit of moisturizer. Bit
everything.
Of
moisturizer, cleanser, and we've got masks as well for female and male as well. So,
wow. Well, I'll give it a purchase.
We'll send plenty over for you and the podcast list as well.
Unbelievable.
We'll get a discount. We'll get discount code.
We'll put it front and center.
Discount code for pod or whatever it was.
Discount code podcast.
Yeah, podcast. We'll be back. But got that coming, which is super exciting. That's with Guns as well. We started that 4 years ago. So
awesome.
It's about to about go time now for that. So
mate, that's unbelievable.
It's super exciting. So that bit of TV again, hopefully, or presenting or something like that, and just keep hanging around like a bad smell, I suppose.
I can't wait to see what you do. Now, before we get into our last section with just a few Q&As from the fans, we want to do a quick shout out to Whoop. Now, have you heard about the Whoop bands?
I have heard about Whoop bands.
Have you got one?
I haven't got one, nah.
Fuck are you doing? These Whoop bands are literally a ticket, man. I freaking wear them every day. It's actually been so good because I get to check what like my recovery is and then what my daily strain is, which is like how much work I do in a day. And it's like, it's good to like measure. Well, it's good to measure like when I play a good game of footy, what my like when I play a good game, my recovery is in the green.
Yeah.
And when I don't play a good game, it's like in the red. Like it's not very good. So it's really good for like tracking that sort of stuff. If you play footy or whatever sport that you play, or just an everyday kind of athlete, it's fantastic to get. I'm surprised more pro athletes don't have it. I wish all of them had access to it. It's fantastic. So make sure you guys go check out Whoop.
Love that.
And you should probably get one yourself.
I will. First thing I'm doing now.
You have terrible recovery.
99%.
0% recovery every day when you wake up. All right, let's get into some Q&As from the fans.
Let's go.
We've got 4 questions. One of them's not very serious because it's from Braden. First question: is it hard to form a relationship when cameras are around you?
That is a tough question. I feel like in those environments, it's very lovely. Like they'll be like, they want people to get together. They'll be like, go date this person and all that. Like it's very like,
the
in a way,
producers are sometimes telling you what to do.
It's honestly not scripted, but it's just like you're in that environment where it's like you're there for that. So it's very like you're not just going to sit around the pool all day and not speak to anyone. So it's like, it's kind of what you do. So I feel like to a degree, things are not like forced, but I feel like the environment pushes you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Eddie Mance's like the time and all that, but I feel like the environment pushes you. It's like, all right, like, you know, you're not just going to sit around the pool all day, like go and speak and see what goes on.
Yeah.
So the environment very much like supports and like pushes you to like find something. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. Like fast tracks things, but once you get out into the real world, it's obviously like completely different to the villa because it's not like that. And
well, there's more like, sounds bad, but like there's more options in the real world, you know, like in the villa, there's only
it's obviously like limited
options, right? And I know
sometimes you might think it's more serious than what it is, but I think the big thing I found was coming out, like once you get into the real world, you start people going to work, like you're going to see your family, your friends, but when you're in that environment, there's 12 people in a luxury villa and you don't have to worry about cooking, clean, like nothing.
Everything's
so it's like obviously you're just going to so it's like you're in this like heaven really, and then when you get out, you're like, oh, I'm back at work, like I'm back doing this, I've got to cook for myself now. There's a lot more things to consider, so it's a big difference.
Puts a bit of strain on the relationship.
It does, because you're just not used to it. Like
exactly right. Are you natty?
I am.
Nice.
You're a big boy. Was that from Gab?
I get the question every week. Doesn't matter who I have on. Doesn't matter who I have on.
If natty.
There's always a Q&A on Are You Natty? So there you go. Braden, Braden
Hammy.
good friend of the podcast, obviously listens
We
every
love
week.
Hammy.
Asks, what could you do, like maybe a bit of a vlog, or like tell us what a week in Ibiza looks like for you?
Ham, you know what a night out looks like with me, let alone a week in Ibiza. But yeah, so long story short, I am off to Europe for the summer.
Very good.
One of my mates, I don't know if anyone knows out there, is his dad's close with Wayne Lineker. So we're looking forward to a real good
Summer.
4 days or summer out in Ibiza. So we've got a few day beds, we've got a few booths, all that planned. So it's going to be a big 4 days. But
Very jealous.
Yeah. I'll probably keep it off the stories, I reckon, maybe. But yeah,
the vlogs, no vlogs?
No vlogs. I wouldn't have thought.
No cameras around?
Yeah,
That's the rule.
no cameras around. I don't reckon.
Phones
for
in
that
a
4
bucket,
days.
I reckon. Phones in a bucket.
It'll be. I've not been, so I'm excited to
Really?
go.
Oh, I thought
Big
you'd been.
DJs and stuff playing. So we'll see what happens.
Shitload of fun. Last question from the Q&A, then we've got one last question from me. Difference between footy fame and social media fame?
Oh, so different.
What is
So
the
different.
differences?
Mate, it's actually crazy. I was speaking about this with a mate the other day. It's like when I was playing footy, no one really gave a shit about me, to be honest. And I was no star or anything like that.
You're still a footy player though.
There's obviously still a footy player and there's some perks and that. But then as soon as coming off Love Island, everything that people are giving you, you come here for dinner, come here,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never had any of that playing footy, and I was in a way, I worked a lot harder to play footy than what I did. I just went on a TV show, and a lot of people just happened to like me, and we win the TV show and all that kind of thing. But I worked a lot harder for that career in footy. I grinded hard for that.
and
then I go on TV, and all of a sudden, people were like I guess the opportunities that came for that were so much higher. So it's pretty crazy, to be fair. But I think it just shows the power of social media and the way the world's heading with social media. It's crazy.
100%. If you don't have your finger in that pie, then you probably should get it.
I honestly think in it's scary to think what it'll be like in 5 years. But if you've got a business or you want to get into that, start now.
Please start a TikTok.
Opportunity.
100%. It's the most important thing that you have to do.
It literally is these days. It is the most important thing.
It's crazy.
It's the biggest thing.
Oh, it's just crazy when people the benefits, and you can attest for this, is what you get out of once you actually become something on social media is incredible.
It's nuts. And
it's I want everyone to have it. I had my friends come over from Perth the other week, and they come over and we went to the Emerson, we're getting shots and freaking everything. And they're like,
living it up.
Are we paying for this? I'm like,
it's
free. And they're like, what?
It's crazy.
Unbelievable for them.
That's just little perks, obviously, but it's still I never got any of that when I was playing footy. You know what I mean?
It's a crazy.
It's crazy.
It's a crazy life. Now, before we finish, I've got one final question. I finish this with this question every single podcast. And I think this is a really good one for people to take home from you. But I'd love to know 3 successful habits that you employ in your everyday life that people at home can use to, advance their life and become the person they wish to be.
3 successful. Where do we start?
I've got hundreds.
Hundreds. I reckon number one thing I found me personally is when you wake up, move, not stay in bed. I don't know if you feel
absolutely
if it's just even if it's a 10-minute walk to the coffee shop to get a coffee and come back, because then you come back and you're energized,
you're ready
up.
to go.
But if you wake up and stay in bed, you just have the slowest day, slowest morning. That's me personally. I've just found as soon as I wake up, I'm just chuck some clothes on and go and get a coffee and come back, and you'll find you're awake. And mentally it clears your head
mentally
too. But
clears that head fog that you
crazy.
Get in the morning. And that, I love that.
Wake
Incredible.
up and move. That's my number one.
Good.
Number 2, I reckon, is go to the gym and train.
Awesome.
I know this could sound whatever, but I'm just going to say it anyway. But the confidence and stuff you get in yourself, and going to the gym, everyone's gym, whatever. But what it teaches you to be disciplined. It teaches you to want to eat well and maximize what you're doing, about having a routine, training gives you that. And if you don't have that, life can go downhill so quick and you don't have a purpose.
The benefits of exercise and going to the
crazy,
gym. Even if you don't go to the gym, go for a run. Just get
do
out
something,
and do something.
But it just teaches you discipline and hard work and how to push yourself and
it motivates you, because once you start to see, and I was just seeing it in the gym today when I was doing something, and I'm I feel good about myself.
Yeah, yeah.
For
You
the
get
first time.
honestly, like,
And
it might feel shit,
once you see a
but
tiny
dopamine
bit,
hit,
like
yeah.
a tiny bit of like, when you see a tiny bit of progress, it makes you want to like work hard in every other aspect of your life.
Yeah,
because
you
it
just keep
motivates
chasing that. Yeah, I listened to a podcast actually on the way over. I was listening to a podcast of, and they were saying about how like nothing good ever happens from like doing something that's like comfortable to you, and how you need to do things that are outside your comfort zone. Well, they were talking, it was what we were kind of talking about before, but good things happen when you push yourself to do things where you put yourself out there and people will be like, like sort of start to hate you and have a go at you and all that. But that's where good things happen.
That's exactly right.
That's
You're never going to be hated on from someone that's doing more than you or above you.
That's my number
Third
two.
one?
Number three. Number three. I honestly, like, to be successful, enjoy what you're doing. I reckon, like, my dad always used to tell me growing up, like, if you enjoy what you're doing, you will never work a day in your life. So, honestly, it's simple as it sounds. Like, enjoy what you're doing. And I know I'm not saying if you're not, just like quit your job and like go and do something. Obviously, be smart about it. But if you are enjoying what you're doing and you're happy, you don't feel like you're living a day in the life, and try and live life on your terms, I suppose. So,
do you feel like you enjoy what you do now more than playing footy?
That's such a hard question. I mean, now it's like good now. I enjoy it now. I'm able to travel and like all that, which I was never really able to do.
If you enjoy freedom,
that was my whole life is all about. That was what I always wanted to do, was just be free, be able to travel and all that. But that's a tough question. I mean, I would love to still be playing footy. I go to an AFL game now and I like walk in. I'm like, I'd love to be playing. Yeah, I suppose everyone who plays footy walks in and they get that. But I mean, I'm enjoying it now. But who knows? Mate, it's a tough question.
The way that you've taken every setback that you've faced in your life and come out of it with like one of the most positive mindsets is it's a bit of a heartwarming story. So I really appreciate you for jumping on and sharing with us. It's been a pleasure having you on, my friend.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's I don't think I've ever really told my story. Only my close friends and family really know that. So it's actually nice, I guess, to share it, and hopefully, if there's someone out there's a kid who's 17 right now and he just found out he's done his knee or done his shoulder or whatever it might be, hopefully he can look at me and maybe be somewhat inspired, then that'll make my day. You can always come back.
It does.
If you're down, mate, the only way's up. You can't get any worse down. So just think that.
I can't wait for one day when you're just sitting around and you're walking down the street and someone comes up to you and say, "I listened to that potty when I was
would love
3
that.
years ago."
Honestly, that would mean the world to me if someone said that.
It's the best thing ever. Now, where can we find you? If you want to, we want to find you on social media. Where do we find you?
Insta, we are Mitch Hibberd. A lot of thirst traps, gym content, lifestyle.
Good if you're a girl listening. Yeah, we have a lot of girls listening.
If you're a girl listening, a lot of that. TikTok, Mitch Hibberd. I'm not huge on TikTok, so I need to pump that up a bit. But
I'll give you a hand.
Yeah, there's a lot of lifestyle, travel, all that on Insta. So yeah.
Unbelievable. And check out Rainbow Skincare when it comes
Rainbow
out.
Skincare, 6 or 8 weeks. You'll see it everywhere.
Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Thanks so much for having me.